All right, everybody. It's another edition of the Forum Thread Podcast. This is the 13th episode. How time fucking flies. Tonight, the little round table, square virtual table, whatever you want to fucking call it. I'm Mr. Fusion. Joining us is Chaos Mana.
Hello.
iWes.
Hey.
Webwave.
Reporting live from the lag zone.
And somewhat inebriated Nobod. Also, we're streaming live on Twitch TV / the forum thread, and you can send your questions and comments to theforumthread@yahoo.com. Guys, is there anything important we need to talk about tonight?
No.
I don't know.
I don't know.
A new console that's
me and
being
Minecraft
released
PC something.
Less than happy.
I was gonna reminisce about EverQuest, but I mean, apparently there's something really big that happened this week. Actually, it's about the Xbox.
Xbox One.
The Xbox One actually
wants to be the
affects
first
me
to make their
job-wise.
complaints.
I will.
Wub,
I'll go
anyone?
first.
I would like to complain about Xbox One. Not enough medical coverage.
I do have one thing upset about it to say, and that's it's changing every aspect of my fucking job.
Huh.
We'll
Take
take
that
that.
in a dick.
We've been programming in basically the format Microsoft uses for the Xbox, and we've been programming it for Xbox basically without really being allowed to. And we were gonna change it to whatever we decided to later, just get it somewhere and have it done. And now they're changing everything, and we wanted it to be first on Xbox.
Yeah,
And
that's actually
it's really pissing me off.
kind of your fault for not seeing that coming.
Well, how am I knew it was getting announced. It just pissed me off that it was getting announced so soon.
Well, the previous version did.
We can do a quick rundown of things.
What?
Go ahead, Chaos. What were you saying?
The previous version did last quite a while. If you were planning to do stuff for it, you probably should have gotten it done earlier. Or
we might have lost
It's
someone.
still showing. It's still showing.
what happened?
Well, yeah, I was still stupid and in college whenever it hit its prime, whenever we should have started. It's just we started at that awkward point where we knew the next one was going to come out. It all just depended on when it did and when it's going to come out and when we're going to be finished.
Well, we can do a little rundown of the basic specs. You're dealing with an 8-core x86, which is a
At
64-bit
1.6
processor.
Yeah.
1.6 gigs, USB 3.0 ports. It's going to have a 500 gig hard drive. From what I'm understanding, this is going to be a proprietary drive where you can't pop it in and out like you did with the 360. Wi-Fi direct. Also, here's the thing that everyone's enamored about this: the HDMI-in and out. Basically, the whole point of the in is you can pop in your cable box, which you can basically run everything off of the Connect 2, which that's another thing we'll get to in a sec. There's a lot of downside with the upside, but the 8 gigs of RAM, which is DDR4, but they're trying to compete with the PlayStation 4, who has DDR5, but it's still 8 gigs. That's pretty much the main thing. I mean, there's a lot of things that are still debated, some things that we're still worried about. I think for me, the biggest thing is this idea of they squashed the whole notion of always online, which that was one of the first things they mentioned when they introduced the Xbox One. But
if it was just a practical joke between the company?
It's a 24-hour cycle, right?
It's semi-online.
Yeah, you have to log in
always.
every.
Well, so is
it's also being left up to the to the developer,
You
right?
have to log
Isn't
in
it going to be
every
just
24
like
hours.
it's
It's
been?
hard to describe.
Wait, what?
You have to log in every 24 hours.
Do you
You
really?
don't have to be connected 24 hours, but it's on for 24
No, you have to
hours.
connect
But
once
it's
every
like,
24 hours.
It's like an iPhone sleep mode.
What happens if you don't log in every 24 hours then?
Well, then you're boned.
Then it goes from the sleep mode to all the way off, and then you have to cycle through, like, starting it up again, like, physically turning it on.
No, that's not too
Because
bad.
from what I understand, it's like it looks like it goes in like what the iPhone does with like sleep mode, where it's off in air quotes, but it's not like really off.
But you still need to log into the network every 24 hours. I think that's what most people are upset about, is not the fact that it's always on, but the fact that you need to log in every 24 hours, meaning you do need an internet connection pretty much all the time.
I don't
Well, that's
think
just so it doesn't waste
I
your
think they
power
should
for
have
the
just
most
kept the
part.
system the way. I mean, the Xbox works just fine. Like, if you want to play online, then you just have to, connect to the internet and download, like, say, an update, like 8.1 has come out for this game. Then you just, download that, and then you can play online. If you don't want to download that, or if you can't afford this or that, then you just choose to play offline.
Don't have internet.
What's an internet?
Shut up, Nopod.
Well, the other thing that everyone's really upset about is the notion of not being able to play used games without paying a fee, and on top of that, God, I lost my train of thought now. Basically, the used games was something that everyone was worried about because a lot of people, especially younger Xbox fans, they tend to purchase them either online through through Craigslist or wherever, these websites, and they buy and trade.
Then let their friends borrow it.
Let their friends borrow it. It looks like that Microsoft is going to hinder that, try to appease the developers.
I was gonna say that's for people like me who need more money to work on more games.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense that people like you do need more money. However,
it's like,
if you're,
I understand why they're doing it totally. It's just even I don't agree with it.
I think they should cater to the customer rather
It would
than
give me more money,
the
but I don't agree with
creators.
it because what happens a lot of the time is it's get your name around.
Well, and I think this whole idea of the we're not an always online console, but yet it's ultimately going to be left in the hands of the developer because they've obviously established this partnership with EA, who, in my opinion, other than
I can't stand EA.
Yeah, they can go fuck themselves because they just show how bad of a company they are when it comes to DRM with their PC versions of games, and then the online pass with their sports, and then this whole thing with Maxis and SimCity. They have their heads up their ass.
Stupid
So when they were on stage at this presentation, my feeling was just, man, EA probably threw Microsoft a shitload of money because they wanted to go ahead and say, hey, we're not that bad, guys.
Yeah, they want to stay alive. They don't,
exactly,
because everyone hates them right now.
Yep, and I think it's kind of left open that there's a possibility where the system may have to have an online, be online every 24 hours, but the developers can still set it up their way where online pass may be reestablished with EA, and you may have to always be online to play Madden or NBA Live or
Aren't they getting EA's getting rid of the online pass though? Aren't they? That's what I heard.
That's what I did just see that when I was looking around. You're getting rid of that online pass or whatever.
Yeah. Did you guys see the link I posted on Rooster Teeth to the EA was voted the worst company in America?
No, I did not know that.
It just solidified my like some magazine voted them the worst company in America, and it just solidified my hatred for EA with their response to it. Because they wrote a letter to the magazine company in retaliation saying, "Are we so much worse than like BP who killed thousands of animals?" Like they were attacking other companies when it's just a silly little, like, we think you're the worst. Like,
well, how credible?
You have to handle that better.
How important was the magazine?
It was like it wasn't like Forbes, but it wasn't just like your random grocery store magazine. It was
like a business journal type.
Yeah, I think so.
Of editorial. See, the problem is that, look, they basically screwed millions of consumers because they misrepresented their product, and everybody that has to throw down $60 is a lot of money for young people to spend. A lot of when a guy like me, I can deal with it, but when there's a kid saving up his money to get SimCity and then he has to deal with this, he buys the game and he can't play for 2 weeks. That's crap. That really is. And EA really, their spin control was just awful. I think we lost Wes.
I mean, I think I would have been really upset if I had. I really like sim type of games.
For a second there, I couldn't hear you guys.
I don't understand why companies make certain choices when it does seem like it's just gonna. Everyone complains about it. Like a majority, I don't think if they had not done the always online, if they had not gotten rid of certain things, like if they had given you an option, what if they gave you one that had, no disc tray and yet that one was cheaper? One that had no backwards compatibility but it was cheaper.
Hey, I'm back.
And that's the other thing, the fact that this unit is the Xbox One is not going to be compatible with the 360. I think that pisses off a lot.
Well,
of
everyone's
fans.
got a 360 anyway.
I mean, at least with the original Xbox, you could play some games, not all, but some games on the 360.
You couldn't play the good ones though. It kind of pissed me off. Of the games I wanted to play, I couldn't.
I think there's a fear that a lot of people that purchase games on Xbox Live Arcade like Minecraft may have to repurchase it because they're not going to let it. They may not let it carry over, and if that's the case, that's just bad.
Live streaming is going to be for PlayStation 4, but is to be announced for Xbox.
Oh, come on!
I hope they have live streaming.
Is your internet acting up?
That's interesting that they're at least adding tools for people like us to do stuff like that.
Well, no, but I mean, well, you know what? Everyone else has talked about this Xbox One. What are your
My views on it? I'm gonna freaking love it. I freaking love the idea of the TV for it. Then you don't have to buy like cable or satellite or whatever. I'm not exactly sure.
There's a TV for it?
No, you're still going to have to pay for it, and you're still going to have a digital box, but it plugs into.
But it becomes better, right?
And the HDMI-in. Yeah, because the Connect 2, it's going to be voice and movement operated, so you're going to be able to say Xbox, ESPN, Xbox. Spice One, Xbox Playboy. It's going to handle everything. Let me see the guide. It'll do all of that for you.
Did we already move past the 24-hour thing? Because the last thing I heard was Chaos say system, and then my internet crashed for like 20 minutes. So.
I'm looking through a list of the specs right now on each system, and I'm trying to decide what I like and don't like. Honestly, things really don't matter. For some reason, Xbox One is not having Bluetooth. I'm thinking that's a lie because there's going to be wireless mics, so I don't know why they'd say no. There will be wireless mics, I can assure people of that.
Before I cut out again, let me give you my criticism of the Xbox, so everyone shut up. Okay, well, the whole thing with consoles is that they're supposed to be convenient. You're supposed to go to the store, buy your disc, go home, put it in the console, play, and now you have to go to the store, install it, log in every day. I mean, they took all the pros of an Xbox and a console and just like, fuck it, we'll make it like a light version of Steam. You do the same thing on Steam, except you get more options with it. I don't really see why they did that.
Because yellow.
I think it's just... Well, that's pretty much it, because they already have their customers hooked, so now they're just trying to milk it for as much money as they can while still sort of making good decisions here and there. I mean, they're coming from their developers themselves, so they're still coming from a developer's viewpoint.
That's why I like...
They're not thinking about the customers as much.
That's why I like PC, because if Steam started pulling that shit and was like, you need to stay always on, and you need to buy 2 versions of your game to install on a computer, I'd be like, fuck this, I'm going to go to some other system. I mean, you can't do that with an Xbox.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's... Yeah. How much? Do you know how much it's going to be?
Oh, that sound hurt. Oh, goddamn, I'm wearing headphones. That really hurt. Ow.
What is that sound? Is that Wes?
That's Wes. I think Wes is his PC, his connections had a total meltdown.
Because it sounds like he's being murdered.
I think it's Tron. I think he's being sucked into his computer.
Sorry, Wes. Well, actually, my connection's actually
Take care,
good
Wes.
now, so maybe that's for the best.
Actually, yeah, you have.
I mean,
a really
that's a
good
noble
signal
sacrifice, Wes. Your sacrifice will be somewhat appreciated. I won't build a statue or anything, but you'll be written down in a book somewhere.
No, he's happy just to be mentioned anywhere.
Yeah, I know. So, for me, I'm still at first when I first saw the specs, I was like, okay, I think I'm gonna go with the Xbox One because what I do is in my home office I have a PC and an Xbox all in my little area, my little station where I can switch out, and multiple monitors. I'm still at this point after rereading everything and thinking about it. I think I'm still debating between a PS4 and an Xbox as the next console. But of course, I'm not gonna buy one when it first comes out. I'm gonna wait a few months, let them iron out whatever major bugs that they have for either console.
The hardware specs aren't all that
think about it
impressive
from there.
either.
When it
Wait a minute.
I mean, it has a 1.6 gigahertz
when it
processor,
does
which is an 8-core, but
when it does come out, what's going to happen to the other systems?
Well, they're still going to release games for them for a few years.
Hey,
but
look at that!
eventually they'll be
Achievements
phased
will
out.
be carried over.
Okay, so it's not gonna. They're not just gonna completely. They're not gonna completely switch it off.
No, it's not going to be a complete shutdown. So they're gonna kind of like how how long was the PS2? Were they making new games for the PS2?
Oh,
Maybe
the
like 4 or 5
PS2. I think
years?
the PS2, at least to me, it seemed to last longer than the other systems before the Wii and before the the Xbox original.
PlayStation 2 was obsolete as soon as it came out.
Well, like
it was honestly terrible.
Well, the GameCube was what completely shut down when the Wii came out, right?
Yeah, because the Wii is like the only system to do the perfect compatibility always.
I was
still
honestly
play GameCube.
backwards compatibility.
When the Wii came out, I was honestly still playing GameCube more than the Wii.
Yeah.
Because
I
that
know
Kirby.
they have a similar structure as far as the GameCube and Wii because most PC emulators do both. So, yeah. I'm still waiting for my original Xbox emulator, so someone needs to get on that. Shit.
Hi, Feather.
By the way, who's Feather?
Feather is a singer from the Brony community. She is a very marvelous singer.
Is she already recording?
Back out, I came back and it was like completely new people, and I was like,
It's because she's Australian.
Feather.
They don't have her.
She really? Oh, she's totally working. Oh, I like this. This is gonna be interesting. All right.
Feather's my new best
Let me
friend.
stretch here. Grab
Everyone-
beer.
I thought I was your best friend.
All right, Feather. We were just discussing everyone's interest in the Xbox One, except for Wub. He wants to piss all over it, and PC rules. That's his
Pretty much, yeah.
belief of it. So where do you stand?
Oh yeah. So.
That's what I told Nova, but he
Yeah, but
wouldn't
YOLO,
listen.
right?
Wow.
Yeah. I like her already. I mean, she's already my best friend. Just by saying that she used to play on the PC. Even if she doesn't do it now, that's still fun.
What games did you play?
You are going to be one boy's best friend. Yeah, well, I can't.
It won't even play Minecraft. It won't even play Minecraft.
I thought Minecraft was rather difficult to run.
Wow.
I basically got to. I gotta step out now.
Okay.
Mainly because of power reasons, but yeah, I still have everything. So this is me signing off.
I'm sorry, it's not that funny.
All right,
but
take
for
care,
some reason, I
Cass.
had to laugh at the fact that he's at a ranch and they don't have enough power to run a computer or a laptop or whatever he's using. I'm a bit
Maybe he's just having a
intoxicated.
rolling blackout. Yes.
So, this whole idea of the Steam box. I mean, if you're a big PC guy, why would you want to even move over to a console, even if it is Steam? But still, it's still a console based where it's going to have some restrictions. You can't upgrade
I actually
it.
looked into the Steam box recently, and it actually isn't a defined console. It's not like those one Steam box. It's sort of a term applied to these mini gaming PCs that are upgradable, but they are quite expensive at the time. Like right now, I think the cheapest one is like $900. So I'm probably gonna wait, but
Well,
yeah.
Yeah. Well, I
They're
think
sort
the
of more,
biggest concern would be the GPU, right?
Yeah, they're still optimized mostly for gaming. They'll have a high GPU. I don't know, what is that? GPU cache? I mean, what's the name for the
Graphics
Yeah.
processing unit.
Oh, I know the term for it, but what's like when you say a 1 gigabyte GPU? Is that the GPU memory? I guess that'd be.
The onboard RAM, yes.
And in
for
case
the-
They'll
everyone's
be
wondering,
optimized.
RAM stands for Random Access Memory.
Sorry, I thought he didn't know.
I'm a PC gamer. I know everything.
No, you don't. You need to know what
Not
GPU
like I'm
stands for.
superior or anything. I know what it knows.
She's taking notes while we're talking about
Yeah.
it, which is very good.
Maybe you can write it into a
Overall,
song.
It's a
I
start.
would say the Xbox. I'd say the Xbox One sort of underimpressed me. I mean, I looked at the hardware specs. The GPU, as Nobody, do you want to say what GPU means again?
GPU means Graphics Processor Unit, and I'm drunk. And I can still remember that.
Yes, good job. The GPU
Swag.
is roughly equivalent to like I think they said an AMD 7790, which is 1 gigabyte. So, and I actually, I actually priced it out. I might just upgrade my GPU. I mean, my desktop is pretty much meeting all the benchmarks already, except for the graphics. So I'd much rather do that and spend $80 on it.
I didn't realize it was that bad of a GPU comparison.
Well, yeah, it's not great, but that's what they said it's equivalent to. I think it's using a specialized GPU, but we will see.
Yeah. Well, I also know that it's running off of, if I understand this correctly, it's running off of 3 OSs, 2 primarily for graphic processing, and a Windows kernel for the apps. Is that correct?
I didn't look at that. I don't know. All I know is that I looked at the hardware. That's probably why it has an 8-core processor, though. Just so it can run
more
all
than
3
likely.
operating systems.
Yeah, and I think they said the primary OS will run up to 4 gigs of that 8 gigs. So I mean that's the reason. I know everyone says, oh well, the PS4 is gonna have 8 gigs, so let's see what the Xbox has. Well, Xbox is like, well, we kind of have to have 8 gigs because the primary OS is taking up half the memory on the system. So
yeah, I don't know. It could be good. I mean, if I want a console in a few years, I'll probably break down and buy it. I mean, it's one that appeals to me most. But until then, I'd rather just spend the $80 to upgrade my PC.
Well, and I built a $1,200 rig about a year and a half ago, and I've upgraded the video card twice now. The video cards, because I SLI, I've done it twice now, and I'm at ultra settings on all my games, so I think I love PC gaming more. When I played Borderlands, I played it on both the Xbox and the 360 and the PC, and I preferred the PC, Skyrim.
It's just not
and
there.
most recently, I've been playing Far Cry 3 on both.
I can't.
And
Apparently
I prefer the
have a recent
PC.
comment.
So I mean,
It's not
I like Steam. I like the fact that they have these sudden sales. Like I bought Far Cry 3 for like
It definitely
$29 with all the DLCs off of Steam one day because they had like a 2-hour sale during lunchtime in the middle of the week, and I go and check on Steam Powered, and boom, I see it there, and I buy it, and it's installed on my home computer by the time I get home, and I like it. I still teeter with the console, but it's mostly for the game, like Madden, Halo, some of those games that aren't offered on the PC. So, but I mean, overall, lately I've become more of a PC person.
Hopefully, this next generation will have developers looking more into PC rather than just default console. I mean, a lot of PC games out there are just ports from the console version.
That's because they're unoriginal.
Like I was playing I was playing Space Marine, and I was playing through it. I'm like, wow, this is really laggy for some reason. All the minimum specs, and I actually looked into it, and apparently it's a common problem. It's just the fact that they didn't optimize it well for the PC, which is which is a shame.
I agree.
It is a shame. So besides consoles, what else is there?
What else is there?
Well, there's PC.
Feather.
What is there to talk about new and...
Feather, it's your job to come up with a topic.
My topic? Well, I want to talk about kittens.
Go for it.
Well, kittens, they're
okay.
They're like baby cats sometimes, but sometimes they're just really cute-looking cats that aren't really babies, but people get confused and think they're kittens. just because they're so damn fluffy.
PC is better than kittens.
What? What?
I don't know. I just felt like such a negative dude.
Oh my
like
god.
The last few minutes.
The title for this podcast.
I don't want to seem negative. I'm
kittens apparently
shitting
aren't
all
as
over
good
the
as a
Xbox
computer.
One, and I don't want to be that guy. So.
Well, no, your opinion is appreciated and respected. You're not coming in, guns a-blazing with no backup to, why you don't like it. You're a PC guy. Like I said, I split a lot of my time on both. I primarily do a lot of PC gaming. The reason why is, like you said, it's just, these consoles, the specs are always a bit inferior to what's out there in terms of the current, generation of hardware so I agree with you. Like, 8 gigs of RAM, you see it's like, wow, 8 gigs. Like, well, I have, 32 gigs on my computer, so I'm not really worried about, having any issues running applications.
You can't even run that
while I game.
You might have 32 gigs
what?
on your freaking thing.
My laptop has 8 gigs.
You might have 32 gigs, but it can't literally run all 32 gigs most of the time. Or would need to.
No, and I know that, but with Windows 7, it runs 5, 6 of the gigs, and then I play the games, and while I'm doing that, I'm also watching a movie on the other monitor. So I'm doing several things. So the RAM and the SLI, the 2 video cards, I give it a good run for its money when I'm sitting down and having a day on the computer, hanging out on the computer for a while.
Yeah, you're investing in future applications.
Yeah. Yeah, and I buy, you buy a motherboard that you can upgrade, and that's probably the main thing is that that after 4 or 5 years, like with the 360, these developers are almost maxed out with the hardware. So that's why they have to rush out another console, not only to just sell, because they're actually losing money, a little money on each console they sell. They just want these developers to start pushing out games en masse to compensate for that cost, but also because their settings are maxed out on the previous generation console.
Yeah, I mean, I liked the idea of consoles being just convenient. I can go to the store, buy a game, put it in my Xbox, and play. But I mean, they've taken that away. I don't understand why. That's the major plus.
Yeah, you do have an Xbox.
I did have.
You do have an Xbox.
I did have an Xbox.
And the only thing you ever played was Fallout 3.
No, that's my Windows Live ID. That's for PC as well. No, I played a lot of stuff on my Xbox. I mean, the first game I played on my Xbox 360 was Gears of War 2. And the last game I played was Gears of War 3, and everything in between I played a lot of.
And apparently you never played Warhammer Battle March.
Warhammer Battle March? I have not.
That is for Xbox 360, might be on PC. It's probably on PC too, but that's a great game.
I will have to go look for that.
Well,
yeah.
With Grand Theft Auto 5, it's going to be PC. They're going to have it on PC as well. So for me, once again, it comes to that point where I think I'll stay with PC for now. Pretty much most of the new games that are coming out, if they're available on PC, I'm going to go the PC route because I know my rig can handle it, and I don't want to invest too much money on any more 360 games if I decide to get a console, a one. And I think the main, like my wife and I were out today doing a little running errands, and we were having lunch, and this whole thing came up on whether I'm going to get a PS4 or an Xbox One, and she said, wait, because right now we have 2 Xboxes in the house, and they're pretty much streaming devices. We use them for the apps, for watching and listening and accessing network files on my network here. I have a local NAS that handles all of that. So it was just, okay, should you really spend $500 on a console that you're probably, oh joy, it can play cable TV. And, I have a lot of friends after working in sports for so long, they're always like, I saw the Xbox, it's got all that fantasy. I'm not a fantasy guy. It's too much damn maintenance for me, fantasy football, fantasy basketball, baseball. So I'm not a big, I like watching the games and looking at the stats, breaking down the games. That's it. But when we talk about, so-and-so had 3 touchdowns, so his fantasy score is this, man, screw all that. I don't want to sit there and have to do that,
I do.
So these features that they offered, I wasn't really wowed with.
I do an automatic fantasy football league, so I just sort of sit there, do it, but don't pay attention to it.
Yeah, and it's hard to keep up with the Joneses that sit there and they read stats all day, trying to figure out who to trade and who to swap out and sign and let go. And I don't, like I said, I don't want to do that. I have a life. Sorry. I mean, I also like to play games and read books, watch movies, and I don't want to sit there and read through stats all day. I do that for a living. I don't want to do that when I get home for my fun, too.
What do you do now? What is your job?
I'm a business manager.
You're a businessman, or what business?
For a law firm here in Houston. So,
what's the law firm called? Please
I'm
share.
not going to tell you the law firm I work.
Before we
Get
get
some
away
details.
from
No, I'm gonna go kill someone and hire you guys.
You couldn't afford us. We require a $20,000 retainer, and we charge $400 an hour.
Motherfucker, I'm a professional DJ. I make what I'd have to pay you in about 2 nights.
Yeah.
I lied.
Yeah,
that
beer
would be
tickets.
Freaking 3 nights. That would be about 3 nights
before
of work.
we get away from
What were you going to say, Webb?
before we get away from real world stats, that just made me think about something kind of amusing in my own mind. Is I'm a big military strategy guy, and I just sort of had the thought that what if someone made a real time strategy game that used real world stats? Like, Russia just bought arms from Liberia. They get an extra bonus. Everyone log on, hurry. Play Russia.
Whoever happens to be America instantly wins.
America sold
Instantly.
arms to Iranians secretly. Oh, fuck. That's not good. Oh, no. Switch characters.
Alright, America spends, like, what? 300 million on their military?
More than that.
The next it's probably more than that. It's probably in the
I
billions.
think it's something
but,
like
no,
I think it's
not in
like
the
3 or 4 billion a year.
It's a lot.
It might be, but the next I think the next military that spends on their next country that spends on the military, I'm sorry, I have a weird stuttering problem that I can't get words out correctly, happens to be, I think it's China, who spends about, doesn't even spend into the billions.
Well, China also has the world's biggest
Doesn't
military.
even spend into 100 millions, I think.
I think they have 1 billion soldiers or something. I don't know. It's some crazy high number that you're like, wow, that's kind of disheartening.
And
Think about it this way. We have a ship that every single one of our ships that are about 220 feet long have a missile that can take out a nuke if ever launched at anywhere from across the world. So go ahead and think about that. Also, freaking the United Kingdom, Europe has this like way station, like this radio station type thing, that if anything terroristic ever happens in the world, they know about it first. So
Like, yeah.
they learn about things within seconds. Like if a nuclear missile launches, they'll learn about it like before the countdown starts.
That doesn't
why
necessarily
they can
mean
intercept
we'll
every
win.
single radio signal? Is that what you're saying?
Almost literally, yes.
That isn't.
It's pretty
That
amazing.
doesn't
Like I'd have
necessarily
to
mean
look all
we
this up
win
and
every
figure it out.
conflict,
but-
though. I mean, yeah, we might be able to shoot missiles out of the sky, but spending the money on doing that,
We can destroy the world.
yeah, we could, but it would also be pretty bad
We
for
would
us.
fuck the world. Starting with Canada. Of course it would be bad for us. Who wants to get rid of frickin' Australia? That place is great. And frickin' New Zealand. We'd destroy Middle Earth.
Like, once you get into, like, international trade and stuff, you're like, we could do it, but we really shouldn't. This is a bad idea. That's where grand strategy comes in, not just tactical strategy.
Yeah, we would nuke the Middle East, except they have oil. Literally, that's all that's holding you guys on. I swear.
And the rest
Well,
of the world would
if you didn't have
You
oil,
know,
you'd be
you know that the
gone.
U.S.'s oil importing, I think it's something like 9% is from the Middle East. Most of it comes from Canada
And Venezuela.
and Venezuela. You know, South America, and Mexico, and Canada is where majority of our imported oil, petroleum comes from. It's not the Middle East.
That's why Canada sucks, but we don't destroy them.
Canada's fine. They're fine.
Oh.
How could you hate
You
Canada?
better hope
Have you seen
Indy
Canada
doesn't
lately?
hear this. She's gonna get pissed if she hears that you said Canada sucks.
Indy and Zapti are both going to hear this. I'm sorry, Edwin. They're both going to hear
Is
this.
Zapti... Wait,
And they will both leave me
is
comments.
Zapti Canadian?
Yeah.
What? I'm disconnecting.
You mean Edwin?
He worked at Tim Hortons. Oh, we just lost a web.
Now I'm back. I'm kidding.
Oh, there it is. What was I gonna say?
He was so surprised to kick him.
He was like,
oh,
he even called it too. He's like, I think he was the one that disconnected the line. Edwin worked at Tim Hortons, which is like that big coffee and donut chain in Canada. And
Feather,
that's when I found out. I was like, oh, you're Canadian too? Yeah.
Feather, how do you feel about Canadians?
Oh, okay.
I'm offended.
I'm not. I think that's more insulting to Canadians than it is to Americans.
I'm insulted.
So what is your idea of a Southern American from, let's say, the Bible Belt, Texas, Oklahoma? Do you have this preconceived notion that we all wear cowboy hats and we ride horses to school every day?
You guys damn well better, because that'd be fucking awesome. I'd fucking be there. That's me. Scones? Yo, scones are the shit.
But scones are a little harder than biscuits, if I... Uh-huh.
Well, well, let me explain something to you. Biscuits are literally just little pieces of bread that are in a little shape that way, so there's a big difference.
All American stereotypes.
Scones are delicious little pastry
And then if
things.
you're, let's say, my neck of the woods,
Yeah,
which
really.
is the Midwest, the lower Bible Belt, the biscuits are used, they pour gravy on them. That's actually a meal. Yeah, they pour gravy on them. They use them to dip sauces that you eat breakfast with. Let's say you make eggs.
Well, actually, I think the way I heard it, well, I know people up north in like Michigan and stuff, and I'm pretty sure my family down in Texas does this too. But they'll refer to any type of sauce as gravy. Like ketchup, it's called sauce. Tomato sauce for like spaghetti or something, they'll call it gravy.
I don't know about that.
Gravy, they call gravy.
Here, a lot of people call cola soda, and then
I call it
the
soda.
more north you go from Texas, like in Oklahoma, they call it pop.
That is the most annoying
I know
word.
that.
That's awesome. That is so awesome.
Fizzy drink. Using that now.
But
Start
see,
a trend.
It
but
is
you know,
fizzy.
here in Texas, every single soda is a Coke. So if you say, hey, you have Dr. Pepper, Pepsi, Diet Coke, root beer, everything. Some people say, do you want a soda? But most people say, do you want a Coke? Sure, and they bring out whatever they have. So it's Coca-Cola is Coke, but when you say Coke, you're referring to a soda. So that go to someone's house, it's like, yeah, I'll have a Coke. Okay, we have Pepsi and Dr. Pepper. We have root beer. Okay, I'll take a root beer, but it's Coke.
Well, I wanted a Coke. Y'all don't make sense.
You know what? It's better.
Why
It's better
don't
than it's
y'all
better than
be
haggis,
English,
okay,
right?
in the UK.
This is how we do
Haggis
stuff in the
is
northern
Your
nasty.
fucking
equator.
haggis is good. Yeah, how cold is it where you are? Yo,
That's the exact sound.
it was like 50 degrees. It was 50 degrees in Pennsylvania earlier, and I was complaining about how cold it was.
Once
Oh, shit,
again,
you people. Shit, you people.
Uh-huh.
What is that, like... That's a 30... What is the difference between sauces?
20 times.
Are y'all trying to convert this?
It's 20 degrees Celsius.
Isn't it like?
Are you guys?
I don't.
Fahrenheit? No, I don't know. That's some sort of complicated equation to get the equivalent of that. I'm not even gonna try.
Wait. 32 degrees Fahrenheit.
Uh-huh.
Oh, that's not bad.
What? That is nice. I'll freaking go out and I'll go mow the lawn in that temperature.
Well, to be fair, the rest of the country during the summer is like 150 Fahrenheit.
Not literally. That'd be killing. That's Pennsylvania gets 104. Like, that's whatever.
Well, here it was 93 today, so that's kind of the average around this time of year, and then boom, it'll shoot back up to about 102, 103.
Wait, it's a winter morning for you, and it's 60 degrees.
Uh-huh.
What the hell? I want to live there.
I think Indy said yesterday it was something like negative 13 degrees. And she's like,
Yeah,
she's like,
fuck Canada.
I think it warmed up to 0.
Warmed up.
Yeah.
It's nice outside, guys. Let's wear our tank tops and go to the beach.
I think she said it was. I think she said the coldest was like negative 35 or something at one point, or something like that.
The coldest in Pennsylvania I've ever been was negative 10.
Is that with the wind chill, or is that before wind chill?
Without wind chill.
Wow.
Without wind chill, but it doesn't really get windy during the winter. I mean, it will, but that's on the warmer days, because that's when the well, we're right on the edge of the ocean, so normally when wind comes in, it's always hot storm fronts coming in from the ocean, and the cold storm fronts coming in from the Gulf of Mexico.
So if Feather came in for RTX, she could handle the heat here in Austin, but like Indy said, oh, I thought about coming in. Yeah, you better bring like SPF 50,000 because your ginger skin's not gonna be able to handle it. It gets humid. But see, you're used to the heat, though. Uh-huh.
Yeah, you're pale, aren't you? I'm pale.
How hot does Austin get during
Yeah, I'm in the sun all the time.
July?
It gets pretty hot. Like in July, you're talking about 100, maybe 90, between 95 and 100. And the thing is, it's a little less humid than it is here in Houston, where since we're coastal, it gets real sticky. So when you walk out in that heat, you also feel like you're kind of swimming. It's not as bad in Austin, so the mornings are a little bearable.
God. I know exactly what you're talking about.
I was planning on...
Pennsylvania might be a lot more north, but it's for some reason, like southern Pennsylvania is a lot like southern states for some reason. It's really humid, rather hot, but it gets really cold.
What's funny is that
really
Barbara's from Dunkelman's from Canada, and she was used to the cold, and now she's actually gotten used to the heat, and she likes it. Because I think she posted on a podcast, said something on a podcast the other day. It was like, oh, it was like 40 degrees in Austin, and she goes, I was freaking cold. I just find that crazy that someone that grew up in negative 5 degrees suddenly finds 44 to be chilly.
I can adapt. That's why I'm.
Neither can I.
That's why I'm lucky to.
When it gets cold up here in Pennsylvania, I just sit inside all day and just music.
What's that, Wub?
Screw the outside. Doesn't exist anymore.
That's a good thing about Colorado is that it always keeps you on your toes. It could be 80 degrees one day, and then a week it will be snowing. So I think I can adapt.
Exactly. Are you in southern Colorado?
It's north central area. It's not down by like New Mexico.
So I was gonna say, I think if you were in southern Colorado, then you would have been in line with Pennsylvania, right? Where's Colorado? Where the fuck is Colorado? Why can't I think right now?
To the northwest of Texas.
Yes.
Couple out, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe like 6. Maybe like a what is it? Like a 18-hour drive, something like
We
that.
bought a.
Yeah, you know what? So you're in line with Pennsylvania. So you're pretty much the same as us, except you don't have all the humidity.
I don't think I'm in line with you as far as loud.
No.
No.
Well,
I mean-
all right. Well, let's we'll call it a night, guys. Thanks everybody. Once again, it's twitch.tv/the forum thread. Questions, comments, complaints, recommendations, nudie pics, whatever. Forum
Please.
thread at Yahoo. Nobody's begging, preferably of the female kind. The forum thread at yahoo.com. As always, guys, it's been great, and everybody have a good night.
PC.